Okay, so when you think of the pelvis, what pops into your head? Probably just a big, sturdy bone at the base of your spine, right? Well, it's so much more than that. We're going to dive into this because the pelvis is, no joke, one of the most incredible pieces of engineering in the entire human body. It's the keystone that everything else literally hinges on.
Just look at this thing. The pelvis is the critical connection between your spine, your entire upper body, and your legs. Think about that. Every single force, whether you're just standing, walking, or jumping off a box, has to travel through this structure. It's the ultimate middleman, and its job is just unbelievably demanding.
And this brings us to a really fascinating engineering problem. A paradox, really. The pelvis has to be rock solid, right? It needs to be stable enough to support our entire body weight. But at the same time, it needs to allow for subtle, fluid movement to help us walk and absorb shock. So how on earth does it do two completely opposite jobs at once?
Well, this diagram shows you the genius of the solution. The pelvis is a superstar at transferring forces. See how the weight from the spine doesn't just crush straight down? No, it's cleverly distributed out through these key joints, around the pelvic ring, and down into your legs. It's this beautiful, efficient system for both carrying a heavy load and acting like a shock absorber.
The real secret to solving that stability versus mobility puzzle, it lies right here in a joint you might not have even heard of, the sacroiliac joint, or, the SI joint for short. This joint is the absolute star of our explainer today.
Now, what I love about this slide is the contrast. On the left, you've got your clean, simple textbook diagram. But on the right, that's the reality. It's this complex, rugged, interlocking surface. This is not your typical smooth ball and socket joint like your hip. No, this thing is built differently for a very specific purpose. And the key is that the SI joint is what's called a composite joint. So what does that even mean? Well, it means it has two distinct parts working together. You've got a fibrous or syndesmotic part that's built for incredible strength and stability. And then you have a synovial part with cartilage that allows for a tiny amount of crucial movement. It's literally the best of both worlds in one joint.
But a joint this important can't do its job all by itself. It needs a massive support crew, and that is where the ligaments come in. We're talking about an intricate web of them that provides just immense reinforcement. The best way to think about these ligaments is like the giant steel cables on a suspension bridge. Seriously, they are strategically placed to hold the joint together under enormous tension and force, giving it that stability we need, while still allowing for that little bit of controlled micro-movement. So let's start at the back with the real heavy lifters. This image here shows us the posterior powerhouses, the interosseous and the posterior sacroiliac ligaments. These things are incredibly strong. So what's their main job? Well, the interosseous ligament is, and this is wild, the single strongest ligament in the entire SI joint complex. Its primary mission, along with the thinner ligament that covers it, is to stop the top of the sacrum, that triangular bone, from tilting too far forward. They're like powerful brakes. And to balance everything out, you've got another key player, the long dorsal sacroiliac ligament. So if the other guys prevent a forward tilt, this one acts like a big old strap that limits any backward tilting. It's a perfect system of checks and balances.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly stable joint, locked in tight by this web of powerful ligaments. This, of course, leads to the next big question.
With all this reinforcement, does it even move at all? And the answer is yes, absolutely. But the movement is very subtle, and it is incredibly important.
The two main movements have these fancy names, nutation and counter-nutation. But don't let the terms fool you. It's actually really simple. Just think of nutation as a forward nod of the sacrum, and counter-nutation is the opposite, a backward nod. That's all it is.
Now, this tiny little sacral nod is everything. I mean, the rotation we're talking about is small, but it is absolutely essential for the mechanics of walking, of running, of absorbing all the shock that travels up your legs with every single step. Without this subtle motion, our spines would just take a beating.
So, we focused on the main joint there at the back. But remember, the pelvis is a closed ring. So to really get the whole picture, we have to see how that ring gets completed up at the front.
And here it is. This is the pubic symphysis. This is the joint at the very front of the pelvis that connects the two halves of the hip bones together. It's the final piece that turns the whole structure into a strong, closed, and totally functional loop. And just like the SI joint in the back, it's not just bone slamming against bone. There's a fibrocartilaginous disc right in the middle.
And as our source material perfectly puts it, this disc acts as a cushion for increased stress during physical activity and pregnancy. It's just another brilliant piece of shock-absorbing design.
And hey, just to complete the whole picture, we can't forget the little guy at the very bottom, the tiny sacrococcygeal joint. This connects the sacrum to the tailbone, and even this small joint is functional, allowing for a bit of movement that's super important during processes like childbirth.
So, let's bring it all home. When you look at the whole system, from the composite SI joints and their web of ligaments to the pubic symphysis closing the ring at the front, the pelvis is truly a masterpiece. It's a single system perfectly designed to provide both rock-solid stability and essential, subtle mobility.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other structures in the human body are so perfectly and so elegantly designed to master two completely opposite jobs at the exact same time? It's just a testament to the incredible engineering of our own biology.